What kind of HOA tows a fire chief's emergency truck and thinks they can get away with it? That's the question I kept asking myself after the chaos that unfolded in my quiet suburban neighborhood. My name's Jack Harper, Fire Chief of Oakwood County, and let me tell you about the day my world turned upside down. It was just after 3 a.m. when I pulled into my driveway, the wail of sirens still echoing in my head from a brutal 14-hour shift battling a warehouse fire that nearly swallowed my crew whole. Running on fumes, 2 hours of sleep, and a thermos of coffee so bitter it could wake the dead, I was just proud everyone made it home alive. My fire command truck, my mobile lifeline, was parked where it always was, its reflective stripes glinting under the streetlight. Packed with radios, evacuation maps, medical kits, and city hazard plans, that truck wasn't just a vehicle, it was the heartbeat of every emergency response I led. I stumbled toward my front door, ready to collapse, when my hand reached for the truck's handle and swiped nothing but air. Gone. My truck was gone. Fresh tire marks clawed through my lawn, the concrete scarred like someone had dragged it off in a hurry. I stood there, blinking through exhaustion, wondering if I'd lost my mind. Then I saw a neon pink note taped to my door, flapping in the night breeze. Saw your vehicle has been towed for violating HOA aesthetic standards. Non-compliant vehicles removed at owner's expense. HOA enforcement. Saw my jaw locked so tight I thought my teeth would crack. Aesthetic standards? This wasn't some rusty pickup. This was a federally registered emergency command vehicle, and the HOA had yanked it because it didn't match their cookie-cutter vision of a perfect neighborhood. I crumpled the note, staring at the empty driveway where my truck had sat for 5 years without a single complaint. A curtain twitched across the street. A garage door slammed shut. Then came a voice that made my blood boil. "About time someone cleaned up that monstrosity," chirped Karen Mitchell, HOA president, strutting down the sidewalk like she'd just won a war. Arms crossed, she smirked. "That thing was tanking property values." "You're welcome." My voice came out low, each word a warning. "That's a state-certified command unit. Towing it isn't just illegal, it's dangerous." Karen yawned. "Park it where it doesn't ruin my morning coffee VYU." Before I could fire back, my radio crackled. "Chief Harper, 10 to 91. Possible gas leak at Lincoln High. Hazmat en route. Need command ASAP." My stomach plummeted. A school. Hundreds of kids. And my truck, the nerve center for coordinating chaos, was gone. I grabbed my backup handheld radio, its range so weak it barely reached the next block, and sprinted to my personal car. Dread replaced exhaustion as I floored it to Lincoln High. Karen watched, shrugging, clueless that she'd just thrown a wrench into a life-or-death situation. When I got to the school, it was a nightmare, smoke curling through the air, flashing lights, sirens screaming. Without the command truck, radios cut out, and coordination between fire, hazmat, and EMTs frayed like cheap rope. We made it work, we always do, but every delayed second burned like acid. Hours later, with the leak contained and the kids safe, I sat on the hood of a scorched ambulance, anger hardening into something cold and sharp. The tow yard didn't open until 8 a.m., but I was there by 7:30, uniform crisp, badge gleaming. The manager, munching a bagel, barely looked up. "Name?" I leaned in. "Chief Harper. Here for my city vehicle." The guy froze, then led me to the truck, parked among rusted junkers. Its beacon was dismantled, tossed in the back like trash. The dashboard computer, loaded with decades of emergency data, was gone. I snapped photos, my voice ice. "Who ordered this?" The manager shrugged. "Some lady, Mitchell. Called it unauthorized trash. Didn't know it was emergency gear." I didn't blink. "Get a statement ready. This is now a legal matter." At City Hall, I met Claire Dawson, an assistant city attorney who didn't mess around. She scanned my photos, the pink note, my timeline, and muttered, "They towed an emergency unit without clearance? That's tampering." She opened a case on the spot. That evening, neighbors lingered outside my house, some whispering apologies, others admitting they lived in fear of Karen's wrath. She'd fine people for lawn ornaments, banned a kid's lemonade stand for cluttering the curb. This wasn't about my truck. It was about a woman drunk on power, thinking she could rewrite the law. At the HOA meeting that night, I didn't wear my turnout gear. I wore my dress uniform, gold braid catching the light, a municipal code book tucked under my arm. The room fell silent as I walked in. Karen, perched at the head like she ruled a kingdom, coughed. "Chief Harper, here to clear up the misunderstanding?" My smile was a blade. "I'm here to clarify that you broke 3 state laws, 2 federal clauses, and city emergency protocols." Her face twitched. "Your tow delayed our response to a school gas leak, contributing to a firefighter's injury. You didn't just tow a truck, you risked lives." The silence was so thick you could choke on it. "I'll see you in court," I said, Leah vying Karen's shallow breaths as the only sound. My boots echoed like a judge's gavel as I walked out. The next morning, the local news blared, saw HOA tows fire chief's emergency truck, delays school response. Saw a photo of my truck, its lights unplugged amid towyard debris, fueled outrage online. Comments exploded, saw HOA overreach. She endangered kids. Saw I didn't fan the flames. I had bigger plans. I compiled registration papers, FEMA designations, towyard photos, and filed a complaint with the city and a REVYEW with the state fire marshal. I also tipped off the city audit committee. Karen had pulled a thread tied to the entire emergency system. That evening, a Channel 5 reporter filmed me by the damaged truck. "This isn't a personal vehicle," I said, voice steady. "It's a lifeline. Remo VYing it without authority jeopardized this community. It won't happen again." The clip went viral. A former HOA board member, Emily Tran, contacted me with a folder of emails and financial records. One email stood out: Karen to the tow company, 2 days earlier, saw I don't care if it's the mayor's truck. That red monstrosity goes before the open house. Saw it wasn't about rules. It was about her ego. At an emergency HOA meeting, Karen spun her usual charm, but I arrived with Emily's documents. "This isn't about parking," I said, handing out packets. "It's obstruction of public safety and abuse of power." Emily stood. "I quit because Karen ignored warnings about that truck. She called it an eyesore in her perfect neighborhood. She knew." Gasps rippled. Karen stammered. "These accusations are absurd." I fired back. "Your bylaws don't trump state law or federal designations. You crossed the line." The board recessed, neighbors swarming me with stories of Karen's tyranny, fines for recyclable trash cans, a wheelchair ramp deemed tacky. Her pattern was clear. The fire marshal called next, confirming the HOA OLAD fire lane and hydrant codes, freezing their construction approvals. An anonymous tip exposed checks from the HOA to Mitchell Properties, a shell company under Karen's daughter's name. The city launched a financial audit, uncovering inflated landscaping costs and a due-law $15,000 patio upgrade for the clubhouse. 2 board members quit, citing Karen's coercion. The community, once cowed, now rallied. I focused on the truck, overseeing repairs, a new beacon, reinstalled computer, recalibrated radios. It wasn't just equipment, it was trust. My lieutenant Mike said, "She tried to choke us, but forgot we breathe fire." I nodded. "She used rules. We used law." I requested a private meeting with Karen in the clubhouse. She showed up in her signature pastel suit, fake smile plastered on. "Glad we can talk like adults," she purred. "This is all overblown." I slid a folder across damaged hydrants, fake invoices, towyard photos. "You knew," I said. "You ordered it, bragged about it. Endangered lives for vanity." Her mask slipped. "I did everything for this community," she snapped. I leaned in. "Explain how stealing HOA funds or blocking fire lanes helps anyone." She froze, silent. "The auditors arrive tomorrow," I said, standing. "Prepare." Karen vanished, citing stress, in a leave notice. The HOA voted her out, electing Sarah Kim, a transparent leader who listened. The audit exposed fraud, duplicate trail funding, unrendered Sarah VYCS. Karen faced criminal charges. I testified in court, detailing the TO's impact on the school response. Photos, emails, and dispatch audio sealed her fate. The jury convicted her on obstruction, fraud, and code violations. She paid restitution, was banned from HOA roles for a decade, and read a shaky public apology. Her house went dark, grass yellowing, a saw for sale saw sign looming. Sarah's HOA rebuilt trust with open meetings. I became the emergency services liaison, teaching fire safety. A note arrived, unsigned but unmistakably Karen's. Saw you won, but you ruined my legacy. Saw I didn't reply. Her legacy was control, not community. At a neighborhood fair, kids played on a firetruck obstacle course, parents grilled, and my restored truck gleamed, its door reading, Saw in service of those who serve Saw. A new plaque by the curb read, Saw authorized emergency vehicle, protected by law Saw. Karen thought she could break a system built on duty. She forgot who holds the hose. The story spread over fences, at the firehouse, in hushed tones at barbecues. The time an HOA towed a fire chief's truck and learned the hard way what happens when you mess with those who run toward the flames. I leaned back on my porch, watching kids draw chalk flames, my dog dozing. No sirens, just a community reborn. And a truck that wasn't going anywhere.